Please talk about the gradual decline of Sentai. Gladly, it sucks.
It's stuck in the Showa.
It's been stuck in Showa.
It's all Daigo's fault.
Look, I'll say it like this, and I think I've mentioned it before. My problem with Sentai isn't the fact that like it's toyetic or that the shows are boring, even though they are. It's just nothing feels fresh. Like none of these shows that I've tried have felt new. They all feel the same, honestly. Like the gimmicks are different, the characters are different, but it just feels like I'm watching the same show over and over again.
I have a hypothesis towards that. So basically, do you think Power Rangers in part can have some type of effect to that? Mainly because it's the formula of why change something if it isn't broken.
Of course. As
you can see, suits haven't changed ever since Mighty Morphin. They're all basically and whatnot. And since then, they've always been spandex clothes. Like they're from the Showa era or early Heisei era, like very, very early Heisei. Do you think that because Power Rangers has gotten big in the States, well, I guess whatever it is now, I guess has some, I guess, effect in part due to why Sentai hasn't changed?
I'm not sure, honestly.
That's actually a pretty good question.
That's one possible theory. One thing I think is that I don't think it's fair to call it a decline of Sentai. I think what we're more dealing with is a stagnation. In that Rider has changed multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Ultra has changed multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Very much so.
And then of course we had other series that are off to the sides. You have you can't compare series that are separate, but I mean, if you look at when Garo started, that was indicative of its era compared to Gavan, compared to the one I'm totally blanking on with the dude with the cool bracer. He's got like a phoenix thing going on, like armor hero.
Yatsurugi?
That might be him.
No, dude.
No.
Or would that be?
It starts with an M.
What is it like? Like is it like something like the Justerizer?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
See, I think when he means decline, I think he means more of like just ratings and stuff like that. But you're right in the sense of like the TV show. It's stagnant. It's like like every other show. It feels the same to me in the sense like, we have these the Sentai. We have giant robots.
And
monsters.
I think a side effect of this is that anytime they are willing to make a change, they don't stick with it long enough for that change to fully grow. Like, the robots took 2 or 3 seasons for them to become the transforming mecha we know and love today. It took a couple of seasons for us to get the standard red, blue, yellow, 2 other colors, black or green's going to be alternating, that we have today. Those things took a couple seasons. So when we get something new, like Go Busters going darker and edgier, or Tokuger or Kira Major going lighter and happier than your average Sentai, people react so viscerally and they aren't willing to stick to their guns that we end up with, we better correct this and go back to something safe. And we don't want safe. Safe gets us Ninja. Safe gets us Ryu Soldier.
I mean, to that statement, like, shit, it happened to Go Busters.
Yeah.
It happened to Go Busters right after, like, Jay and I, we reviewed that earlier in the year, and I can tell you right now, like, the second half of that show feels like it became so damn safe. Like, there was no reason for it to even be that, for it to be airing. It
needed time for us to get kind of this feeling of Go Busters' first half is wonderful, and then it gets very samey, and it needed time for it to turn into its own thing. I hate to say it, I think we either need Sentai to take a break, or we need Sentai to split.
I agree.
It should have a long time ago, honestly.
Well, not split as in leave. I mean split as in turn into 2 separate franchises.
No, I got that.
Okay.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, it's also indicative of just the nature of it, where it's this merchandise driven. It's a toy commercial. I think we can all admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's people might like this thing, but it ain't making money. So let's just who cares if it's going to make money eventually? It's not making money now, so we're going to go back to what was making money right then, and that's going to work again. And it happened with Kyoryuger, where they turned it all into a big collectible gimmick fest because Gokaiger did that, and that made a whole lot of money.
But Gokaiger made sense.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but you know what he's saying.
Yeah.
So they went back to a formula that they knew worked, and that is loads and loads and loads of little toys to sell. And they kept doing it, and they kept doing it, and people got tired of it because they stopped caring about actually putting effort into these toys. So, not to mention that, unlike, again, in Gokaiger, where they're relevant to the plot, shows like Kyoryuger, Tokuger, fucking Zyuohger, Q Ranger, for the most part, had them.
Fucking Ninja.
All of them completely irrelevant to the plot.
Yeah. I would argue that, like, Gokaiger's collectible is at least little figurines of other Rangers. It's something you would want. Tokuger's collectible are the mecha. Zyuohger's are the mecha, but everything else has always been, oh look, I got a bunch of stupid balls. I have a bunch of batteries. What am I going to do with these?
I got a bunch of little fucking cubes.
Yeah.
You like
And I know-
cubes?
The cubes
And
at
I know
least
I-
are
I
fine.
know someone that's going to.
And the problem with Q Ranger is that while I do love Q Ranger, I hate the fact that you need the goddamn Q Thomas to even make formations.
Yeah,
I was
that
going
too.
to say I will bring up the inevitable counter argument of, well, Ryder does it too, but see, the thing is, we don't allow Ryder to slip by that. There's a lot of times. I mean, fuck, Build was the shit when it came to the fucking collectibles. There's 50 bottles, now there's 50 more, now there's 60.
The bottles
Holy
were
shit.
part of the damn plot.
He's right.
Well,
Exactly.
See, that's the thing. There were certain bottles for the plot. Then you had like 50 more that just came out.
Yeah, those
for
were
no
dumb.
reason. And then you had like, and see, that's the thing. Ryder's been going down this road too, but admittedly with 01, like with Zeo, they already had to like calm it down because it's only 20 Riders.
Yeah.
And then the auxiliary stuff and everything.
And they can
But then-
sell that as toys, and if you like it,
Yeah, exactly.
you'll buy it.
Yeah.
And then with 01, I mean, honestly, it doesn't seem like there's that many when it comes to the progress keys. They are very condensed.
You can
But
buy all
they're
the
So it
Zephyr
seems like they're
if you
learning.
want them, but you don't have to.
Yeah, like they're learning.
But
And they're not showing off so many of these keys in the sense of, you better buy them or you're a fucking nerd. It's not like fucking
Admittedly, I gotta
Sentai.
give Kira Major credit there, in that it doesn't feel like you have to get every single gemstone. The Morpher's just a spinny wheel,
yeah,
which
but
is
that.
fine.
See,
But with
like,
Cure,
that actually...
go on, yeah, Chad. Sorry.
Yeah. Like, I think that actually brings up an interesting point there, in that case. If you think about, I guess, Ryder, for example, first off, they're always willing to experiment. Like, take, for example, Good Old Gaim, directed by, or basically written by Good old Urobucher.
Urabuchi.
And then,
The Butcher.
yep, good old Urobucher. And then, if you think about Sentai now, especially, I think the thing that Sentai is doing right now, which is fascinating, as I watched Kira Major, basically, it feels like they're experimenting with like older Sentai, I guess, techniques and tropes.
And
And I don't know, this feels very interesting. I don't know where, I guess, Kira Major's going, but at this point, like, first off, staff's got a whole bunch of, Sentai veterans, worked on, Shinkenger.
Deca Ranger, the head writer Arakawa, did Deca Ranger, and so that's probably where a lot of that's coming
Yeah.
from. Where you've got this guy who's just kind of this old, not necessarily old guard or say, but he's, all of his main writing hits are these big shows, and so he's willing to take risks because obviously he knows what he's doing. But I see what you're saying there. With Ryder, they're willing to take risks. Like they had fucking Gen Urobuchi. Gen motherfucking Urobuchi doing their show.
The
And
guy
that
who,
shows-
the guy who made fucking Mechagodzilla a fucking city, Urabuchi.
Gen Madoka Magica 8 times in a row, Urobuchi.
That's
Good old
also,
Fate Zero
Jesus.
Urobuchi.
And it's Urobuchi. Obviously, he takes risks. He does weird shit, and it worked. And then they kind of backpedal. They almost tried that with Ghost, where they got a guy who was born to he does dramas and like ghost stuff for that. And then he bailed after the first episode, so they had to scramble and come up with a new plan. So they tried it again with X8.
That's still my funniest.
Wait,
that's still
what
the funniest
happened?
fucking thing.
That's what happened.
It's part of the reason I can
Pretty
forgive Ghost a little bit. It's still terrible after episode 15, but
I just love that story. We're just like, no, fuck that. Fuck this.
He
But
did
see,
one
but
episode
see,
and quit. But no, what I was gonna say,
But-
and then they with X8 where they got Yuya Takahashi, where he did fucking nothing. He's basically a nobody. He did like a couple episodes of Go Busters here and there, absolutely nothing else. They gave him his own show. He wrote every single fucking episode, movie, spin-off, everything, and look at how well X8 did.
I think that's
I was
part of
gonna
it.
say it's weird, but like Toei, when it comes to writer, it's a lot like, and this is gonna sound weird. It's a lot like how Marvel does it with some of their movies, where they just take these guys who don't really do anything, and they're like they've never really done anything big, and they're just like, here, make a big movie, do this big thing, and usually it works out for them really well.
Well,
And that's why I kind of like Rider, because it's always trying to do something different. It's not like nobody can tell me that Build feels the exact same to Ghost, or
No.
Wizard feels the same to Gaim, or Double feels the same to fucking
If-
Kabuto. They all feel different.
If it was
Oh,
written
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Sentai, if they had been playing it safe the entire time, Build would have been Double 2.
pretty much.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. Also, I guess on a similar vision, going back to Sentai though, I'm thinking the themes of Kira Major, and also especially some of the, I guess, kaiju, like the kaijin, or like the monster designs, and also, heck, even our main villain design, they all seem very Showa-esque, like what you'd see in like older Sentai. Like, say for example, Die Ranger. Like, the villains there were obviously clad in a whole lot of leather. You could also see them. Say, for example, our red villain, or like, you could see that dude's mouth. And then also, like, the Showa era, like, Monsters of the Week is like something mask. And it's like, that seems very
Gas
Showa-esque.
poison gas mask, baseball mask,
Yeah.
radio mask, iron mask.
Mask.
So,
Adjective
like, basically,
mask. Yeah, basically.
do you think in that case that Sentai is trying to do something new by trying to harken back to older days, which, like, Sentai back in the day was admittedly a lot darker?
Oh, I mean, yeah, fucking watch the first episode of Go Ranger. You see dozens, if not hundreds, of people getting mercilessly gunned down and chopped up and stabbed. But
See, I can see that being a good thing for Sentai, but eventually I'm gonna have to say there's a very big caution sign there, where it's like, if you go too far with it, it's gonna get old. Like, it's cool to harken back, but you also still need to try and change.
I think
Because that's the problem there, that it feels different because they're not doing the same thing they were doing for the past 15 years.
I think what we're running into here is us saying the sameness of Sentai. Okay, hear me out. This is going to sound a little weird, but I mean, I'm a media studies guy, so this is what I do. The sameness is not Showa era, even though Sentai's always felt much more Showa than Rider, because Rider
course.
came back in Heisei. But, well, second set of Rider, obviously. Anyway, the stagnation we're feeling does not go back to Go Ranger, it goes back to Gao Ranger, where
yeah,
we had
Right.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
all the
He's
collectible
right.
gimmicks.
That's
In
very
that
true.
case, it was all the arm animals and like the one rhino who was legs. But what we're dealing with now is now we're going all the way back to Showa, and to be fair, that's also what Rider just did. Because look at 01, we have a very basic design. The design is very Showa on 01. He's a black suit with green armor. And when they upgrade him, they add another color. Done. Kira Major, very simple teams, very simple monsters. I think I have the same apprehension as you, AJ. I'm happy they're going back to basics. I don't want them to walk down the same path they walked down. I want them
course.
to walk down a new path from here. I want them to go down the road through the Yellow Wood, the road less traveled.
yeah,
Because when you take a big chance, you know what? Sometimes you'll get Ghost.
A big reward.
Sometimes you get Kuga.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Take your fucking chance.
Very
but
true.
I think that's a great comparison. There is in Sentai, if we had gotten something like Ghost for Sentai, which, I mean, I guess you can kind of say the Ninja was, but you look at Ghost,
Jesus.
which
Ironically,
they
it was the
tried
same
to
year,
take-
wasn't it?
Yes.
It was the same year, and I think the same writer as well. But they took this big risk with Ghost trying to do something unique, and it bombed. So what do? They try again. They do something far out there again. They try X-Aid, which is still unique. It's got these really weird designs. It's got this interesting concept to it. They have a writer who has basically done nothing. They took another risk, and it worked. And that's the thing with writers, that they're always willing to take risks. Sentai, it's, we sold 0.03% less than we did last year. Let's just go back to fucking dinosaurs, or ninjas, or cars, or car ninjas, or car dinosaurs, or whatever the fuck.
I mean, to be fair,
Oh,
car dinosaurs would be
I
perfect.
would
I
fucking
think
love
they're
car
showing
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
Or how about we spend 7 episodes introducing a new character and then kill him off right as he becomes part of the team? Thank you, Ryu Soldier!
I mean,
Man,
that's
I'm
something
glad I
that nobody
dropped
else
that
had.
show.
Well, no, actually, I was about to say nobody else did it. They fucking remembered Zhu Ranger exists. Can I say one little side tag on this?
Yes.
Go for it.
Using Sentai and Ranger. No. Sentai and Rider. There we go. Those are the words I meant to say. Using Sentai and Rider as kind of roadmaps of what happens when you try something new. I'm a little worried for Ultra.
Why?
In that, like, Geed was good, X was good, Zeto is really good, but the fact that they're constantly going back to old Ultras for their themes and constantly trying to cash in on that nostalgia is getting very stale, and I'm afraid Ultra's going to go back into the slump it was.
To be fair, that's been happening for quite a long time. I think almost a spot.
I think it started
Yeah.
with Ginga, and I want to assume it's...
Fucking Ginga. It's
Well,
always back
Ginga
to that
just had an
shit.
well, Mebius also had an excuse that was an anniversary thing, and so did Ginga, which was allegedly an anniversary season.
Allegedly.
And
I
then
mean,
from there,
Doing it for anniversaries makes sense, but, I mean, technically every year is an anniversary. Maybe stop
At
it.
this point.
I mean, yeah, sure, it is. As much
What
as
I heard
love,
about Ginga was,
Gogora
like-
and Eleking and Zeton and all these old classic monsters, seeing them all the goddamn time is starting to get a little old.
Give me some new monsters. I mean, give us Gamera, give us Zeton, that's fine. But it'd be the same thing as if over in... Like, in Rider they can get away with it, in Sentai they can get away with it, because when, I don't know, Biohunter Silva, I think his name is, the guy from Bioman,
Yeah.
when he shows up, it's like once every 3rd or 4th movie. And it's like, he's not there the whole damn season, he's here for one movie, and we get to go, oh boy, it's Silva, this is the coolest thing in the world. Meanwhile, when you were given
Yeah, that's very
Zeton every fucking season, like, if there's one thing I gotta say Sentai has going for it, we have not had Grifforzer show up like 12 fucking times.
Last time he showed up, he was in a completely different costume anyways.
Exactly.
That is true.
Well, I think we've kind of said our piece on that. We've kind of spent a lot more than we probably should.
Yeah, that
Oh,
next
yeah.
question, we'll just answer it in one word. That'll balance out.
Fascinating conversation,
that
though.
one had a lot of